Welcome. Let us align and focus with purity of motive, inspired by a loving heart. Right spiritual motive involves merging of the personality, self-will, into that of the sacrificial will of the soul. Our aim is to embody spiritual discernment, practice positive harmlessness, and eventually achieve a state of divine indifference as we dispel illusion, dissipate glamours, devitalize Maya in all our relationships. Let us briefly review the glamours given to us by Master Dwalkul. 1. The glamour of destiny. This is a glamour which indicates to the one whom it controls that he has important work to do, and that he must speak and work as destined. This feeds a pride which has no foundation in fact. 2. The glamour of aspiration. Those thus conditioned are completely satisfied and preoccupied with their aspiration towards the light and rest back upon the fact that they are aspirants. Such people need to move onward onto the path of discipleship and cease their preoccupation and satisfaction with their spiritual ambitions and goals. 3. The glamour of self-assurance, or what might be called the astral principles of the disciple. This is the belief, in plain language, that the disciple regards that his point of view is entirely right. 4. The glamour of duty. This leads to an overemphasis of the same sense of responsibility, producing lost motion and the emphasis on the non-essential. 5. The glamour of environing conditions, leading frequently to a sense of frustration or of futility or of importance. 6. The glamour of the mind and of its efficiency and its capacity to deal with any or every problem. This leads inevitably to isolation and loneliness. 7. The glamour of devotion, leading to an undue stimulation of the astral body. The man or woman thus glamoured sees only one idea, one person, one authority, and one aspect of truth. It feeds fanaticism and spiritual pride. 8. The glamour of desire with its reflex action upon the physical body. This leads to a constant condition of fighting and of turmoil. It negates all peace and fruitful work, and must someday be brought to an end. 9. The glamour of personal ambition. Name the individual glamour that you find hindering you as we continue to work as a group on the dissipation of the group glamour of group exclusivity that fosters separateness and harmful divisions. Aspects of the glamoured thought forms for individuals: self-pity, a spirit of criticism, suspicion. In holding this silence, consider glamour as it manifests in your life and group work, hinders your progress, and hinders your service. See your part in it. Name your part in it. Right spiritual motive involves merging of the personality self-will into that of the sacrificial will of the soul. Before we begin, let us align as soul and as a group and see our group approaching Master DK's study. Silently sound the soul mantra, and in that soul silence, fuse and blend your personality will with the will of the soul. I am the soul. I am light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. My will is now to lift the lower self into the light divine. Such is my will. And we align as soul with all those studying and meditating with Master Dwal Kul, including those who join us from the other side of the veil. Breathe in effortlessly and easily. See our group moving through the field of lotus blossoms lining our path toward Master DK's study. We pause at the ivory door, which opens as the Master greets us and invites us in for our contemplative approach to advancing as a discipleship group. As we endeavor to dissipate glamour and dispel illusion as individuals and in group formation, we stand around Master DK and see 3 windows filled with light. We stand in silence as he turns and faces the east. Together, we enter into a great point of light and sound the mantra of group fusion. I am one with my group brothers and sisters, and all that I have is theirs. May the love of the one soul pour forth to all. May the energy of the one soul lift and aid all. May the thoughts which the soul creates reach and encourage all. May the energy of the divine self be spread abroad in our hearts, through our groups, and throughout the world. The preparatory stage that we do imaginatively until the group itself has formed to work together on the physical plane. The act of naming. As we imagine and visualize the group members eye to eye and establish a soul-to-soul connection, in silence, we withdraw from personal and world affairs and center on the work to be done, setting up a magnetic field of positive receptive activity. As we name each person, visualize the cross of divinity within the aura of each person. Sign of the cross of divinity, the great symbol of light and of consciousness signifying the vertical light and the horizontal light, the power of attraction and the power of radiation, soul life, and service. The act of protection involves sounding the protective formula using the long-armed vertical cross, touching the points as we are guided to do so. Touching the forehead. As a soul, I work in light. Touching the center of the chest. And darkness cannot touch me. Touching the left eye. I take my stand within the light. I work. And touching the right eye. And from that point, I never move. The act of focusing the lights. Focusing the dual personality light of matter and of mind, we meditate on soul contact and the recognition of soul light. First blending and fusing the two lesser lights, and then merging the blended lights with soul light as an individual into the triple light. And then this is carried forward as a group, each member making their contribution and consciously attempting to visualize the process of blending the triple light, which each contributes into one sphere of light. From that high point of soul focus and using the triple light, with the merging and blending of this triple light, we create a group light, the light of the group soul. There is a realized unity of the souls of all the group members, increasing in power and potency as the great searchlight. Say in unison, the light is one, and in that light shall we see light. This is the light that turns the darkness into day. Sounding with the sound of the bowl, as the group soul on its own plane, sounded forth affirming by the group soul the realized unity of the souls of all the group members. Sounding as the soul on the mental plane. Sounding as the soul on the astral plane, the soul ready to function as light bearer and distributor of light upon the astral plane. The sounding of Om indicates both the fusion and the sphere of action, because Om is first of all sounded forth by the group soul, the realized unity of the souls of all the group members, and then as the soul upon the mental plane, and finally as the soul ready to function as light bearer and distributor of light upon the astral plane, to keep us at a point of tension. The technique or formula. While saying the mantra of light, we visualize the turning of the great searchlight, which we have jointly created by our unified light, onto the glamour to be dissipated, holding the light steady and realizing mentally the work of dissipation it is intended to do. Confirming this, the act of direction, the mantra of light. Radiance, we are, and power. We stand forever with our hands stretched out, linking the heavens and the earth, the inner world of meaning and the subtle world of glamour. We reach into the light and bring it down to meet the need. We reach into the silent place and bring from thence the gift of understanding. Thus, with the light we work and turn the darkness into day. We pause for a few minutes as we, as a group, attempt to throw behind the searchlight our united, directed, and dynamic will or intent. Then, together we say, with power upon its beam, the light is focused on the goal. In silence, the searchlight builds in power, radiance, and strength, yet it is still quiescent and not yet directed out. In the act of projection, we utter the words of power, which, again naming the particular glamour, the subject of our attention, we thus bring it consciously into relation with the focused light, beginning the task of dissipation, sounding and dissipating our individual glamour as part of the group glamour, of separative group exclusivity and harmful divisions. The power of the light prevents the appearance of the glamour of the power of the light negates the quality of the glamour from affecting me. The power of the light destroys the life behind the glamour. These statements are the act of affirmation. Next comes an important aspect of the work, the act of penetration in which we visualize the gradual dissipation and dispersal of the glamour by the penetration of the light into its darkness. We each endeavor to see the glamour disintegrating and the reality emerging, doing this by an effort of the creative imagination. Each of us will do this in our own way and according to our own understanding and capacity. Continue in silence and intensity of purpose as the Work Institute goes forward. We begin the act of withdrawal. We withdraw the consciousness from the astral plane and the world of glamour. We refocus attention, first of all, on the mental plane. And then on the soul plane. Relinquishing all thought of the glamour, knowing that the work has been successfully carried forward. We reorganize ourselves as a group in relation to the kingdom of souls and to each other. Occultly speaking, the searchlight of the soul is shut off. We sound the Om in group formation, together with the bowl. And then, in order to emphasize that the work is ended, the leader for the group begins and sounds the Om aloud and says, "So let it be," and help us in our individual lives and in group life to end all glamour and untruth. Then the recording is paused. The focalizer calls on each member of the group to sound the Om alone and say in turn each member's name and the statement, "So let it be," and help me in my own life to end all glamour and untruth.